Okay, so we will start with the AWS Lambda function now. And AWS, before AWS Lambda, we have talked about the EC2, we have created the EC2, we have worked with the EC2 instance. So if you remember, while talking about the EC2, every time we had talked about how much CPU we are going to consume, how much memory we are going to allocate to this EC2, correct? We select the instance class, and that instance class will be having CPU and the memory. So just suppose that I have to deploy a simple web application, correct? So, and if I'm not concerned about memory and the CPU, so like if I know that my application will require at least 1.8 GB of memory to run, so I'll be selecting the instance class based on my requirement, correct? The instance class which will be having at least 2 GB of RAM or like 3 GB of RAM or 4 GB of RAM. There should be enough RAM available, correct? But the moment if I'm not aware that how much CPU, how much memory my application will consume, in that scenario, you can utilize this Lambda function. EC2 and the Lambda function, what is the difference? They both can do the computation. They both can run your application, and there are other use cases as well of the Lambda function. This Lambda function is called as serverless compute service. Your EC2 is called as compute service only, and this Lambda function is called as serverless compute service. What is the meaning of the serverless? The meaning of the serverless, that means you are not worried about the underlying resources, how much CPU, how much memory are required to run my application. The moment you will create a Lambda function, you won't allocate any CPU, any memory. So whatever the CPU, whatever the memory will be required to run your application to perform the code execution, it will take those CPU and memory internally that will come from your AWS cloud. You won't be able to see, but you will just see that how much memory has been utilized and for how many time, like how much duration your application was running, correct? So that kind of thing you will see. So this is why it is called as serverless, where you are not worried about underlying infrastructure, underlying resources which are required to run your application, correct? It enables you to run code in response to events without provisioning or managing servers. That means you do not have to create any server. A technical term for creation in the DevOps, we utilize this provisioning, correct? But it might be a generic term as well. Mostly I have utilized this in DevOps only. So we do the provisioning of servers, we do the provisioning of infrastructure rather than creating of the infrastructure. And you do not have to manage the servers, you do not have to provision any servers, but you can run into the response of any events. What does that means? If something happened, then this Lambda function code will get executed. In Lambda function, we are going to have some code, Python code or Java code, based on what code you want to integrate. We will cover the demo on Python code itself, one basic Python code. So just suppose that when you are talking about in response to events, the moment I placed an order on the Zomato, I should get notification. The moment I do not place any order, I won't get any notification. The moment you place any order on the Amazon.com, you like order an electronic item, you will get a notification. The moment you have changed the password, you will get notification. So you are doing activity on the UI side. You change the this changing of the password will be handled by one microservice. The moment you did this action, your notification got triggered. So that is in response to events. In the similar way, just suppose that you have a file, correct, and you uploaded it to S3. The moment you will upload this file, your Lambda function will get triggered and it will scan your file. What are the contents which are available in this file, and it will parse the complete content and it will show you, correct? Or it can send the it can filter out the data, few data. Considering one scenario here about the Lambda function is going to execute your code, correct? Just suppose we will cover the demo as well on the S3 itself. That's why I'm taking the example of S3. Just suppose that here you have one S3 bucket, correct? This is a S3 bucket. You have uploaded one Excel file, correct? In S3 bucket, you have uploaded one Excel file. There is one Lambda function. I will have to integrate the AWS cloud. But okay, just for understanding, let's call it this one as a Lambda function, correct? The moment you will upload any file, correct, in your S3, just it's a Excel sheet, and in this Excel sheet, there are records of thousand number of patients. So there are records of thousand number of tourists which has come to this particular estate or to this to your particular hotel, correct. Now you want that who all the customers were there who stayed in my hotel for 10 days, or they spent approx 1 lakhs of money or 2 lakhs of money, correct. Now you want to promote your business to those customers who were there, who were satisfied with your services, correct. So you will upload the file of those customers, of those users into your S3. In response to upload of like uploading your file into S3, it will trigger one Lambda function. Lambda function will execute the code, whatever the code you write. Just suppose that we have written down the code, that it will bring out those data out of this Excel sheet. Like just suppose that this Excel sheet has 1,000 number of users. Out of this 1,000 number of users, there are only 500 users who has spent at least 2 lakhs on my hotel, correct. Like they stayed for the 10 days or 15 days, correct, those kind of things. So it will bring out the data of the 500 data, considering the threshold that those who have purchased or those who have spent this particular money, correct. This Lambda function code will execute and it will filter out the data and then it will send it back to you, correct. So those kind of filtration you can do. So what happened? Lambda function code got executed in response to uploading a file over here. So this is basically called as ETL job, like extract, transform, and load. That you may hear when you will be working with the data analytics or the data engineering kind of, where you work when you start playing with the data. Another thing, like the feature and the advantage of the Lambda function is that if you remember, I think might have talked about the secret manager, correct? Or I do not remember if I have talked. We have utilized this secret manager for like secret manager utilize to store the sensitive information, correct. And while creating the RDS instances, we have talked about that there you can have your like all the credentials in the secret manager. Just suppose that if it's the production database, you are going to store the sensitive information, the credential of the your production database into your secret manager. Now tomorrow you have passed this database password to your team members or to your cross team members for one activity, correct. But if this password, that production database password, is static, it's not getting changed, they can utilize this password going forward anytime to log in into your database, correct. This is not the best practice. If it's the production database and if it's the sensitive information, we keep rotating the credentials. So what happens, like the implementation, what we have done, we we have implemented Lambda function. We had actually, it was in the last to last project, if I remember. So we had implemented this Lambda function. This Lambda function, what it was doing, now you understand about the database, you understand about the secret manager, correct. So it was fetching the credential, that means all the details through which it can make the connection to your database, the username, the password, the database host, correct. And yeah, if it's public database, these are the enough details to connect your database, correct. It This Lambda function code, the like the way how you develop the code, you can write all the low code logics and everything. It will fetch the credentials from the secret manager. It will make the connection to your database. Once the database connection has been successful, now it will rotate the credential of the secret manager. Like if it was earlier 12345, that is the password. Now it will change with 6789, those kind of password. It will be complex password and not this much simple, correct. So it will rotate the credential and again it will test the connectivity with your database. If the connectivity has been established, if it's successful, now it will update those credentials into secret manager. So Lambda function can be utilized to it can be utilized for the different purpose. It's the same code logic and nothing else, correct? In the Lambda function, you just create one infrastructure, underlying infrastructure, you are not to over it, and it can be triggered in response to some events. If something happened, then it can execute, correct? Or you can simply run it manually as well. Now let's cover the demo of the Lambda function as well, so that it will be able to visualize how it works. Before that, there are key concept. It is event driven architecture. That means if something happens, then it will get executed. Correct. The what can be the different backend services for your Lambda function? This question you might encounter during your work, during your interview. What are the backend services for the Lambda function? It's S3. Whenever you will upload any file or you will delete any file out of your S3, it can invoke the Lambda function if you have done the integration. DynamoDB, API Gateway, SNS, SQS. What does that mean? The moment you will send any message into your SQS, SQS is simple queuing service. SNS is simple notification service. Correct. The moment you will send, just suppose that your application is generating logs, and these logs you are setting to SQS, and a Lambda function will do some filtration on your log, and then it will send it to your any of the monitoring tool like Dynatrace to your Splunk, Datadog, wherever you want to. Correct. So those kind of things you can do. The moment the message will get into this SQS, it will trigger Lambda function, and this Lambda function will do the operations according to the code logic what you have written. Correct. So these are the kind of backend services for your Lambda function: S3, DynamoDB, API Gateway, SNS, SQS, and backend services. That means this can help you to invoke the Lambda function. There are others as well, like secret manager and other services. Then in the Lambda function, okay, these things we will cover from the UI itself. It's serverless model, automatic scaling. So this is the features or the benefits of the Lambda function. Serverless model, that means you do not have to manage servers. AWS handle infrastructure. That means CPU and memory, you are not worried about how much CPU, how much memory this Lambda function will consume. It will automatically be managed by AWS Cloud. Automatic scaling, just suppose that today when you ran your application 100 lines of code, it took 500 MB. Tomorrow if you run 1000 number of codes, 1000 number of lines of code, correct? So it will take 1 GB of memory. So it will automatically scale those things. You do not have to tell that it has to now consume like 1 GB of memory, correct? It will automatically scale, it will automatically consume those things. It's cost effective. Why it is cost effective? Because if you remember on EC2, if we run one application, it will constantly run till the moment you do not stop the server, correct? If you stop the server, you won't be paying the cost for running your server. Behind the scene, there will be EBS volume. We have seen that, correct? For you will be charged for the EBS. But in the Lambda function, you will just pay for the time duration when when your code is getting executed. Just suppose that your code get executed within 100 millisecond, or it got executed within 1 second, the maximum time duration, correct? You will be just paying for that 1 second only. It will not run just like AC2. It will not run constantly. It will run for that particular second, and after that, it's the work of the Lambda function is done. You will just pay for only the compute time. You pay only for the compute time what you consume. That means if your Lambda function got executed for 100 millisecond, you will just pay for 100 millisecond only. If your code is not running, you are not going to pay. So that is the cost effective thing here. Just suppose that you have just developed your one simple web application. Considering the scenario for the cost effective, you have developed your code application. Your Just suppose that you have created this Manish DevOps, correct? And I want that whenever someone place an order for a particular course, correct? They are now going to avail this particular course. You registered for the DevOps training, correct? Then you should get the notification. If people are logging into my platform, they are like going from here to there, they are navigating. I do not want that they should get any notification, correct? Only the people who are registering, who are availing a particular service, they should get the notification that you have been registered. From this particular date, we can join, correct? So what I am doing, if my footfall on my website is 10,000 number of users, correct? Just considering a simple scenario, 10,000 users are logging into daily basis, but only few of them will register 100 or 20 number of users, correct? If I'm at initial level, how can I optimize the cost? How can I save the cost, correct? So you can have the Lambda function when someone will register. If your Lambda function will constantly checking this, correct? So if someone registers, someone avails this service, then this API call will make a execution to the Lambda function. The Lambda function will get triggered. It will fetch that user details that this particular user has purchased the course, and then it will send the notification to that user only. If 10 users registered at the same time, it will send the notification to the 10 user, and after that, your notifications microservice is doing nothing. It's just stopped. So you are going to pay for only that amount, that particular compute time only, correct? Your notification microservice should not be always up and running to monitor what are all users are coming. It will just get executed the moment when someone has registered, and apart from that, it will not work. So that way you can save the cost. It can be integrated with another services like S3 and other what we talked about. These things we will talk on the console itself.
Manish, one question is there. Like we have a logs in every day, every second we have a logs from the server.
Mhm.
So it's a non-breaking process. I mean, it's a continuous process. Every time we need to fetch the logs and store into the EBS. So why we use Lambda function in that case? Because Lambda functions are the something which is event driven. I mean, like as you told, like we have only used Lambda function when some particular work at the particular time we need. But the thing is, we have some work with the project with continuous process, and we need that a permanent, I mean, particular fixed server for this types of work. Then how we can how Lambda function is helping in that way, because it will launch, do the work, and terminate.
Correct.
So yeah, but but logs or matrices or something which we are saving, server logs. So it's a continuous process work. So why we go
Okay.
for Lambda in that case?
So the scenario, what you explained about the continuous process where you need constant log or your application should always be up and running, correct? Those kind of process you talked about, always
Yeah,
up and running. For that, you can select EC2. This is the use case of the Lambda function. If you want something based on some events, then you can utilize the Lambda function. Just suppose that the example what I took. I just want that whenever I will upload any Excel sheet, I have one S3 bucket, I have one Lambda function. I'm not paying anything for this, correct? I'm uploading JPG file, I'm uploading videos, I'm uploading any kind of things, correct? I won't get any notification. This Lambda function will get not executed. The moment I will upload Excel sheet, correct? I want that this Excel should contain whatever the data is there in this Excel sheet. This should get filtered out. The data out of the thousand number of users, 500 users should get get filtered, correct? And I'm just talking about the static number. You do not know there are 500 users or there are only 100 number of users who has spent more than 2 lakhs, correct? That code you can build is somewhere like it's the same code logic. You already work in the development, correct? So you can write you can write a code, and that code will check this Excel sheet what based on the threshold. If the user expense is more than threshold, it will fetch the user details. This Lambda function will get executed at that particular time only, and apart from that, it will not get executed. So for this kind of particular use case where you want this particular scenario only, you can utilize the Lambda function. The second scenario, what I talked about, rotating your passwords. You cannot keep a EC2 instance always up and running just to rotate the circuit because you are going to rotate it based on 15 days or 13 days, those kind of interval. So you want that this particular concept, this particular rotation of the credentials should get executed after the interval of 30 days, correct? Once in a month. So if you keep one AC2 always up and running for this feature, just suppose for 29 days this AC2 was doing nothing. It was just a waste of money when you are having this AC2 up and running for 29 days because it was not performing anything. Even though the AC2 application which is running on the AC2 can also perform the same operation. It's the same code logic, correct? But for rest of the 29 days, this AC2 was not doing anything. So for those kind of scenarios where you just want the one-time activity based on certain events, correct? Then you can utilize the Lambda function. That is the use case of the Lambda function itself. If you want based on some event, you can utilize this. Is it clear? Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. We will just cover one demo as well on the Lambda function side. So what will I do? I will just create one Lambda function. And I'm just going to have one simple file. I'm not going to upload any Excel sheet, but you will see how it will work, correct? So I have opened this Lambda function dashboard. What will I do? I will just open one S3 bucket here as well. Let me refresh. Let's click on the create a function. Here we will just pass any function name. Like I'm just going to the pass the name. What we should pass S3 to Lambda, the Lambda function name. Then you are going to select the which kind of technology you are going to utilize. Either you are going to write down your code in Python or you are going to write into the Node, correct? Everything, most of the programming languages are available: Ruby, Python, Node, Java, .NET. We will select any out of this. Right now, I have this Python code, what I will be utilizing. So I will be selecting Python 3.9. Then here is the roles and permission, execution role. This Lambda function should get the permission to do the operation, either to S3, to EC2, to your VPC, correct? Every resources need permissions, IAM role and policy to execute the some activity. Here we will go with the create a new role. If there is any existing role, you can utilize that too. I will just go with create a new role for from AWS policy templates. Here I will just pass the name S3 Lambda, right? The role name. Whatever you want to pass, you can just pass. And from policy templates, you will just select for S3 because I am going to talk about the S3. And this is Amazon S3 object read only permission. What kind of feature we are going to implement? We are going to implement this same feature. Lambda function will read the content from S3, the file from S3, and it will trigger and it will print some messages. When I'm talking about printing some message, it will just fetch the content of the file and it will print those files content. I think, okay, I have closed that. So that should be available here. Let me go personal S3 demo. I will just show you the content as well. Notes demo. This is a demo file which will show the content once it is uploaded in S3 bucket. This is one simple line what I have written in demo.txt file, correct? What will we do? We will upload this file into your S3 and your Lambda function will get executed. It will fetch the content of this demo.txt file and it will print it in CloudWatch logs. This is what we are going to do, correct? Based on some execution, based on some event in S3, Lambda function will get triggered and it will do the operations according to your code logic, correct? So yeah, S3 Lambda and the permissions we have given S3 object read only permission. It can only read the objects within your bucket, correct? Let's click on the create function and your Lambda function has been created. Till now we have just created the Lambda function. We have not applied any code. So I will just open up my repository as well. And I will just cover one demo on this Lambda function. You can go with the other demo as well. That demo is available, like the code is available on this repository. I will talk about that too. So S3 to Lambda, I have written down one code, correct? I have written down the steps and this is public GitHub repository. So anytime you can utilize, correct? And the repository is nothing but it's very simple. It's Manish Krishna Vimal. That's the name, github.com/Manish Krishna Vimal. You will type, it will get this. If you are not able, I have shared with the Keshav. If you like Shivam and Sanket, if you want, I can share it with you as well on the WhatsApp. So this is the code, correct? Import JSON, import Boto3, and then one simple Lambda function, which is called as Lambda handler. We have written, correct? I will just get into this Lambda function. And the moment when you have created this Lambda function, you see there are options. There is an option of adding triggers, correct? And when you talk about the adding trigger, you see there are multiple services which are available. Like these are the some advanced services which are available: Alexa, API gateway, application load balancer. Also, you can integrate with your Lambda function. Then code commit, correct? There are multiple services. Now we are going to cover the demo on the S3. We will just integrate the S3, correct? You can have SNS, SQS as well. So there are multiple services which are available what you can integrate and they can help you to invoke this Lambda function. These are the backend services. The trigger keyword is considered as backend services as well. Triggers, that means which can invoke this Lambda function, which can start the execution of the Lambda function. That is this one. Correct. Then here you can write down your code. In the code section within this Lambda function, there is a code section. In the code section, you can write your simple code, whatever you have. As of now, we are just going to pass this on. Import JSON, import boto3, then Lambda handler. And we are going into S3 boto3 dot client S3. That means we are getting into the S3 service, the S3 service of the AWS cloud. Then it will check for the record, which are what are all the objects which are available. It will print simple hello from S3 custom message. Then it will print the name of the bucket or through which bucket it is interacting right now. Correct. Then it will print the file name as well, bucket object. Like every time when we upload any object into this bucket, correct? Objects. So every object has their name, correct? Fintech India, Sora, PPC endpoint, .mp4, this PDF file name. So every object has their name. So this particular code is now going to print bucket name, bucket object, and then it will print the data of the file as well, correct? This is the simple code we have written down here. What I will do, I will just save this code, whatever we have just written. To save the code, you click on the deploy and it will save the changes. To test the connectivity, like whether your code is working fine or not, you can click on the test. Deploy is utilized for saving the changes, correct? Whatever the changes you will do, that can you deploy. Deploy is utilized for saving the changes. Successfully updated the function S3 to Lambda, correct? Now, when you want to trigger, when you want to execute whether your Lambda function code is working fine or not, you can click on the test. You can click on event, and event, that means you are just going to pass certain name, test, correct? And you click on the, okay, you have just selected test, you click on the save. The moment you have saved, click on the test. Okay. What will happen if you see there is one execution which is going on? I'll just keep it on the top. Error type, sandbox or timeout, request ID, all the things you are getting. It consumed, memory size 128 is the max memory. It utilized only 84 MB to execute this code, and it ran for 286.05 millisecond. Correct. So for this particular time duration, this Lambda function got executed, is consumed 84 MB. Right now, this has been failed. Why it has been failed? Because we have just implemented the code, and this code has to, where is the code? I will just close this terminal so that you can check the code now. Okay. This code, correct? It is now getting, it is trying to get into the S3 to fetch the data. But from the S3 side, we have not done any integration, correct? So what we will have to do, we will have to do the integration on S3 side as well. So I will get into my S3 bucket. I will upload one file here. Sorry, before uploading any file, we will have to configure the things so that it can invoke the Lambda function. So we will get into this event notification within this S3 bucket. In the properties section from where we did this static website hosting, there is one option of event notification as well. Click on the create event notification, pass any name, whatever the name you want to pass, the demo. Then you select the option here. If you see the event types, all object create events. You want that whenever some file will be uploaded to your bucket, then it should trigger the Lambda function, or you want that if any file is deleted, then your Lambda function should get executed. There are multiple options: object creation, object removal, object restore, object ACL, correct? Based on these use cases, you can have your Lambda function execution. Here you will select the Lambda function as destination, and you will select your Lambda function. The Lambda function what we have created, that is S3 to Lambda. Click on the save changes, and the moment you have saved the changes, and now you will upload any file to this, correct? Objects, you will see one log stream should get generated. Let's get into the Lambda function. We will get into the monitoring. From the monitoring, you can get into the CloudWatch logs. You can see one log stream has been generated, and it got generated based on our invocation, the execution what we did for the test environment, correct? Although it was not successful, but that has been executed, correct? You can see the timestamp, so the log events and everything. Now what will we do? We will just close this. We will upload the file now, and it should execute the lambda function according to our use case. The moment we will upload a file, it will execute the lambda function. Now we will upload one file over here. Click on the upload. Click on the add files. Then you will click on the demo. You will select this demo file and click on the upload. We have uploaded this file. In response to this particular event, the moment you upload it, Lambda function should get triggered and your CloudWatch log should get generated. Let's refresh. Now you can see one more time this execution has happened. And if you see, it is printing hello from S3, then bucket name, my Terraform state file bucket 1. This is the name of the bucket. My, where is that? My Terraform state file bucket 1. The name of the file was demo.txt. So you can see hello from S3. That was your custom message. What we have written here, hello from S3, correct? That is your custom message. Then bucket name, bucket object. Hello from S3, bucket name, then bucket object, demo.txt is the file name, then response according to your code. It is printing the response. Then it will print the content, the data, correct? That is, it will read the data, then it will print the data as well. So let's get back there, and here you will see it is printing the data as well. This is the content what we have written in the file. This is demo file which will show the content once it is uploaded in S3 bucket. This is what we had written, correct, on the demo.txt. So this way it can do the filtration, it can get into your files, it can fetch the details. Whatever the operation now you want to do, you can do. What you need to do, you just need to write the Lambda function code here according to your use case. This is one of the demo. One demo I would recommend you to do, one or two demo based on the activities, correct? There is one use case of auto start and stop the database. The use case I will talk about. Most of the time what happens on weekend, Saturday and Sunday, most of the development team or any other team is not working apart from this monitoring team, correct? Mostly monitoring team works, the operation team works, and the development, the new feature enhancement does not happen on the weekend, correct? So on Saturday and Sunday, after the Friday evening, you can say after the on the Friday after 6 p.m. or 8 p.m., no one is going to work on any production environment or no one is going to do any development, correct? Mostly I'm talking about the trend. So you can save the cost for your own non-production system. Production database will always be up and running because it's the real end user which is utilizing it. But your non-production database on which your DevOps team, your development team is working, or any other team is working, they are not going to utilize it on the weekend. So you can save the cost for the database which is there as a non-production database. So you can stop those databases on your Saturday and Sunday, and then you can keep it up again on Monday morning after 9 a.m. In the similar way, you can automatically stop the servers, the EC2 instances which are serving your application for non-production application, correct? The test environment application. You can stop those servers on Friday evening and you can make it available after the Monday morning 9 a.m., correct? So those kind of things you can do with the help of Lambda function. Your Lambda function will automatically start those databases on Monday morning and it will automatically stop the databases on Friday evening. Those kind of configuration you can do. That is the another use case of the Lambda function case of this kind of requirement we do in real project. I have already written down the one code here, auto stop rds lambda.py. This particular code you will pass in on your Lambda function. I have written down the steps as well. Here you need to pass on some tags the moment you will create the Lambda function, correct? And the Lambda function you see the option of configuration. In the configuration you have option of tag as well. So here in the first block you will pass on the code. Here you will pass on the networking settings. You just need to explore, correct? Click on the VPC, click on the edit, you will pass the VPC, you will pass the subnet. If you want to pass any environment variable, those environment variable you can add. If you want to pass any tag, those tags you can create. So in this particular code, I have written need to create environment variables in your Lambda function and tag in RDS. So on your Lambda function, you will create these three environment. And the moment when you will create one RDS instance, you will get one tab for creating tags. There you need to create this particular tag as yes or no, correct? Then you pass on this particular code. What will it do? I will just give you the overview on the code. It will check the status of the database. If it's available, it will call this stop DB instance and it will stop the database. If it's already stopped, the status is already stopped, it will print the message DB instance is already stopped. This particular code is for stopping the database on Friday evening. The same fine, we keep the different Lambda function for different use cases, correct? First one will stop the database. Second Lambda function, this will start your database. I have not added .py extension, that's why it is not reflecting in the color. But this particular code is going to start RDS, start RDS all, correct? And based on the tag filtration, if you see the code logic, we have if else condition, we have the for loop as well. So based on the tags and everything, it will check the status of the database. If it's available, it will say that it's already available. If it will check its database instance status is stopped, it will call this start db instance function and it will start your database on Monday morning 9 a.m. based on your configuration, correct? So this kind of demo I will suggest you to do, just like it will perform this like the how we did for uploading a file into S3 and it executed and it printed the custom message. In the similar way, you can create one Lambda function, you create one RDS instance, then integrate your RDS with the Lambda function to execute this particular thing.